AZ Audibles, we've reached the final week of the regular season. We're here to talk about it. Eric Sorensen, Jordan Ham, I'm Jared Cohen. We'll talk a little bit about last week's games and then look ahead to rivalry week. A lot of great games on the docket that have some playoff ramifications as the brackets will be released this weekend. Eric, let's start with you. You took on a couple teams that came into last week with great records, big game on the line for both teams, and came away with some interesting notes.
Thunderbird, Cactus Shadows. Cactus Shadows came out with the win, breaking their losing streak. But one player that I really liked on Thunderbird, B. Bozeman. He's a wide receiver. He had 3 catches for 3 touchdowns against Cactus Shadows. This guy is really a Swiss Army knife. They line him up all over the place. How many times do you see a wide receiver be the team's leading rusher? He has over 800 yards rushing and 7 touchdowns.
It's definitely rare. It just shows that they just want to get the ball in his hands. There's no question about it. How about you? You went to that big game with Desert Ridge last weekend.
Yeah, Desert Ridge, Desert Vista. Jalen Harris made some plays, big surprise, but in attendance was the Arizona special teams and tight ends coach Charlie Ragle, and Rich Rod made an appearance as well to check out their Arizona recruit. And every time he would make a play, I'd kind of just peek over, and usually they were calm, cool, and collected, but you could just kind of tell that, like, Rich Rod was just like, yes, okay, like, do you just want to come down to Tucson with us right now?
Like, they need them. They're so beat up.
Yeah, and they are thin there, and I think that's something that's really going to help is the depth. But he made plays on both sides of the ball, had a big touchdown, was really pressuring Desert Vista's entire offense as a defensive lineman. And you can just tell that he's going to be making plays in the Pac-12. He'll have to bulk up, of course, but I don't think that'll be an issue. And he could be a monster here in the Pac-12 over the next few years.
He's everything that they've been mentioning, what they've needed in from a recruiting standpoint, size and length, especially on defense. Desert Vista came away with the win, though, in that game. What is it about Desert Vista? Because you had a great nugget that the teams that they've lost to have a combined 4 losses this season. Is this a team that has a legit shot to turn some heads in the playoffs?
I absolutely think so. And you look back to them last year, and this is the exact same narrative, where they were a very scary 8 team, and they had #1 Chandler up against the ropes in the second round before Chandler finally was able to pull that win out and kind of make their own playoff run. But Desert Vista, Dan Hines, he does a great job with the team. They have just solid players everywhere. I know in the recruiting roundup you guys mentioned quite a few guys on both sides of the ball. One guy that really jumped out to me was Leland Dillard. Their running back, also plays some linebacker, made some big plays, had a rushing touchdown, 8 touchdowns on the year. And again, just another weapon on that offense and a playmaker on the defense.
This week, though, big games coming up. There have been some rivalry games over the course of the season that have happened, like Cactus and Peoria, but there are some of the biggest games on the calendar for a lot of teams this weekend. Let's start with Hamilton and Chandler, the battle for Arizona Avenue. I know you've caught in Chandler a couple times this season. What's your overall takeaway on what they bring to the table?
Well, as always, they have plenty of playmakers on that offense. In the backfield, TJ Green, Ryan Johnson. Jacob Conover has done a great job as the quarterback, taking over and really kind of making that position his own. And then Johnny Johnson on the outside has been, again, just another great Chandler receiver. And then defensively, they had their struggles earlier in the year, but it seems like they're starting to kind of shore that up a little bit. Chris Manoa in the middle, he's a complete wrecking ball.
After what happened in the Corona Centennial game, even though their offense was incredible, their defense still wasn't good enough to get the win, and then they got blown out by Mountain Point. Since then, Coach Aguano kind of shifted his focus to the defensive side of the ball to let some of his offensive coaches call the plays, and since then, they have been spectacular both sides of the football.
And that offense has never been a problem this season for Chandler. They're averaging 44 points a game. So
yeah,
once they got things solved on defense, the wins have started to come.
And on the Hamilton side, their defense is, I think, the stronger of the two. And Satchel Escalante, their safety, is just a monster. Let's talk about Pinnacle Horizon really quickly because though Horizon has not won this matchup, the communities, this game is always sold out and always a lot of energy.
I got to toss it back to you and throw you a bone because a few weeks ago you said, hey, Pinnacle's a team. They start off 1-5, but you may want to just keep your eye on them once they get into league play. Sure enough, they've won 4 in a row. They're at 5-5. Flip the script on Horizon. Horizon started off hot. They've lost their last 2. This is a big game for Ty Wisdom, first-year coach, because depending on how some other games play out, I mean, it'd be a shame if Horizon didn't get in after such a quick start to begin the season.
Williamsfield Queen Creek has quietly become, after maybe Chandler Hamilton, one of the most heated rivalries in Arizona. These two teams have competed for state championships, are good every year. Williamsfield has a ton of talent, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Eric, I know you caught them early in the season.
Tons of playmakers, and it will really be interesting to see how that one plays out, because Queen Creek, they're just a bunch of kids that play hard defensively, and so it's going to be whoever can control the line of scrimmage is probably going to have the upper hand in that one.
And Queen Creek's always historically been about their running game. They have aired it out a little bit more this season, but they're going to ride that offensive line like they always do. You're going to be at Desert Edge Verrado this weekend.
That's right.
Kind of like Pinnacle Horizon. Verrado has not beaten Desert Edge like Horizon has not beaten Pinnacle, but with the communities involved, it's always a pretty big game.
Yeah, and Verrado's a very solid program. The thing is, Desert Edge has just had this great run, specifically in the last couple of years, of just being this dominant, suck the life out of you on offense with that heavy run game, and then defensively they'll just try to punch you in the mouth as well. So, but I don't think that this Desert Edge school or program is looking at this game lightly. I don't think they ever really do, because they know the talent that's on the other side of the football against Verrado.
And the last one I want to mention briefly, Liberty against Centennial this weekend in Peoria, another community-related one, but this one has results behind it. Liberty has knocked off Centennial. The two teams met in the state championship game a couple years ago. A lot of guys that grew up playing together, kind of like in those other two communities. Centennial has been fantastic since losing week 1 against Desert Edge. Liberty quietly has improved their season. This will be big for their playoff standing. And so a lot of great games on the weekend. That's Eric Sorensen. That's Jordan Ham. I'm Jared Cohen. This is AZ Audibles on Sports360AZ.com.